many times have you felt excited to begin something? I know for me that happens a lot, right? And then it quietly just fades away. That excitement just leaves you. Not because you quit on purpose, not because you didn't care, right? But because life got busy. That happens to all of us. Motivation dipped, or maybe the path felt heavier than expected. Maybe there was more to do than you thought, right? What if finishing is not about willpower at all, but more about a skill that you were never taught? That's what I'm unpacking today. Join me. Hello, beautiful one. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to Business by Design podcast. Your next level starts here. This is the 10-minute reset for women entrepreneurs who know there's another level waiting for them. Hi, I'm Valerie Priester, your host and your mindset and strategy catalyst. Each week, you'll get two essentials: a mindset reset to quiet the self doubt that keeps you circling the same plateau, and a strategic architect move, a practical step you can plug into your business before the episode even ends. Listen, this is what I promise: no fluff, just focused clarity so you can trade busy work for purposeful and powerful momentum. Are you ready? Let's design your victory starting now. Many of the high achieving women that I work with, and many women in general, are excellent starters, right? I know that the women I work with, they're visionaries. They feel possibility real deeply, right? They believe in possibility, and they can see what could be if they followed through and finished the things that they've started. But the problem is the finishing part, right? That's where things begin to unravel. And it's not because these women or any women in particular lack discipline, but because we are so conditioned to respond to urgency instead of commitment, right? We are taught to be helpful, to be flexible, to be responsive, and we're often praised for adapting to changing situations, but not necessarily completing anything. So when life interrupts, or you know, things happen, unexpected things happen, finishing becomes an option in our mind and even in our nervous system, right? And over time, what happens when we have all of these unfinished things stacking up, things like, the unsent emails, or um, unlaunched ideas, right? Half built offers, promises even to ourselves that we quietly allow to expire, right? Here's the truth that we rarely say out loud: every unfinished thing leaves an imprint. And not an imprint on your resume, right? You still look good on the job. Not, even on your business metrics when you're thinking about, all the things that you're measuring and how you're doing in business. It doesn't leave the imprint there. It leaves an imprint in a place that is so much more sacred and valuable to us. And that is our self-trust. Each time you walk away from something that you intended to complete, your nervous system records it. And slowly, what happens is your belief in your own follow through erodes, and you start to feel like you can never get anything done. That's what we say. That's usually the comment that's made. I can never get anything done, or I can never finish anything that I start. Right? But this is, again, why finishing matters more than starting, even, right? Not because the project itself is sacred, but because completion restores that trust in yourself. Finishing teaches your brain something very powerful, right? It teaches your brain that when I decide, I follow through. And remember, I keep saying everything starts with a decision. And that belief, when I decide, I follow through, that belief changes everything, right? So let's talk about why finishing is so hard. Well, first of all, finishing requires endurance, not excitement. So that excitement that we start with is not what's going to take us through to be able to finish, right? It requires staying present when the novelty wears off, right? When this is not so exciting anymore. And it requires tolerating discomfort without creating escape routes, right? The moment we feel uncomfortable or we feel like maybe I can't do this, the moment the self doubt, comes in, all of that, we then start to create a way of escape, right? And many women confuse discomfort with misalignment. Sometimes when we are in a space where we're feeling uncomfortable or feeling like this is not quite it, it's an alignment issue. It's not so much about discomfort, right? And what happens here is, they tend to think this feels hard. So maybe it's not the right thing. Maybe I'm not the right person to do it. Maybe it's not the right thing for me to do, all of that. But hard does not mean that it's wrong. Hard often means that you are building a new capacity, right? You're stepping into the next level. And here's a great reframe that matters. You do not finish because it feels good. You finish because you decided to finish. Decision is the bridge between intention and identity. When you decide something is complete, you remove the option to renegotiate with yourself, right? That does not mean that you ignore your intuition, not at all. It means that you distinguish between wisdom and avoidance. I've been talking about avoidance all this month because it's so important, right? Wisdom says this needs adjustment. Not that I need to quit, not that I need to stop, it just needs adjustment. Avoidance says, this is uncomfortable, so I'm done, or so I'm going to quit, or so I'm going to stop because it's not the right thing for me, right? That's avoidance. One builds maturity, the other one keeps you cycling, keeps you in and out of the start and the stop, the start and the stop, right? And here's another important truth. You do not need to finish everything. You just need to finish something to start building your confidence and the self trust to finish the things that you have said you want to do, right? Completion builds confidence faster than ambition ever could. We are all ambitious. We want to, do a lot of things. We have these big, bodacious goals. But if we don't complete anything, we're not building our confidence. So if you have been stuck in a pattern of starting strong and fading out or, you know, starting and stopping, then I encourage you to start small, right? Finish the draft. Maybe it's just a draft of your next offer that you're trying to get out. You don't have to write the whole thing or create the whole program. Finish the draft. Finish a conversation. Maybe there's a conversation that you started and you failed to finish that conversation, right? Finish it. Or finish a week of showing up consistently with one thing. Maybe that's your marketing. Maybe that's showing up on social media. Maybe it's writing your newsletter, right? And showing up every week to do that. What I want you to understand is that small completions actually compound and create greater confidence, greater self trust. And over time, you become someone who finishes. You totally shift your identity into the person who will finish what they start, right? And not because life gets easier, because it doesn't, but because your relationship with yourself becomes stronger. You trust yourself more to finish. Finishing is not about pushing harder. It's about staying with yourself through the middle, that middle messy part where the excitement's gone and now you're really understanding what needs to be done in order to finish this project, and it may feel like it's the heaviest thing in the world. But if you stay with yourself right there in the middle and finish, at that middle is where transformation happens. Remember, designing your victory is a choice, a decision. Start by choosing one thing to complete without renegotiating with yourself. Just complete what you started. I'll see you next time. Well, my amazing ones, that's your focus shift for today. If it sparked a new thought, follow the show and share it with a friend who's also ready for clarity. For those of you that have been following me, I want you to know I truly appreciate you. For those that are new to me, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you continue to follow. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Sharing is caring. Want to keep the momentum going? Check the show notes for my newest free resource. You can be sure it's most timely to help you take your next confident step. I'll meet you next Thursday for another dose of mindset and strategy tailored for the business and life you truly want. Remember, designing your victory is a choice. Start with one clear, purposeful action today.